What is list in Python? List is a built-in data type that lets us create immutable sequence of values in a single variable. It can be written as a list of comma-separated values between the square brackets. So here we have an example of list. So colors is a variable of type list and its value is a list of three values. So basically red, blue and green. So list, the values are indexed. So therefore we can access any value using the index. So if we try to print the list variable, it will print the complete list. So here we can see it is printing red, blue and green in square bracket. So this is a complete list. Now if we want to print any particular value from the list, then we need to use index. So here we can see colors of 0 will print red. So 0 means the first location, 1 means second location, 2 means the third location and so on. So colors of 1 will print the value at second location. So it will print blue. Then colors of 2 will print green. Since list is of mutable type, so we can change any particular value in the list using the index. So here we are changing the second value using the index 1. So color of 1 equals to yellow. So yellow will be overwritten at the place of blue. So now if we try to print the color variable or the color list, it will print red, yellow and green. So it will not print blue. Now let's implement the list. So I can declare a variable, let's say x equals to, then square brackets. So this represents a list and then we need to add the values in it. So let's say 1, 2, 3, 4. So basically x is a list which contains 4 elements and those are of integer types. So let's try to print the list. Let's run this program. So here we can see the complete list is printed 1, 2, 3 and 4. Let's check the type of the variable x. So here we can see class list. So basically this x variable is of type list. So list is not only a type of array containing the similar data type elements, but it can contain mixed data type elements as well. So let's remove this type statement and let's try to add, let's say string Python, then let's say a floating value. Now let's run this program. So here we can see a list can contain integer, string, a floating value and other data types as well. So those can be a part of the same list. Now let's try to print the values of this list using for loop. So how we can write for element in x print element. So basically this is a for loop syntax. So for is a keyword, then a variable name, then in operator and then an iterable type. So this x variable will get iterated using for loop and each and every item of the x will be declared in the will be assigned in element variable one by one. So first one will be assigned to element, then we are printing 1. After that it will assign the second element Python, then we are printing that, and then the third. So since these three print statements will get executed one after the other, so they will be printed in a new line and without square brackets. So here we are printing we have printed the list variable directly, so it is in single line with square brackets. But now we are printing each and every element one at a time. So here they get printed one by one. So another way of printing the elements is like we can use the indexes. So this one variable is at 0 index, then Python is at 1 index, then 3.14 is at second index. So let's use the range function, which will start from 0 and we need to run till the value 2. So we need to write 2 plus 1, 3. So it will run from 0 to 2. And let's rename this variable to I so that it can be meaningful. And then, so I will represent the index value one at a time. And let's print x of I. So here we can see it print first I will be assigned a value 0. It will print x of 0, that is the value 1 at 0th index. Then I will be assigned next value which will be 1. Then it will print x of 1, which is the value at first index, and then the value of index number 2. This is how we can use the index numbers to print the values. So now so we have a concept like lists are mutable. So what is mutable and immutable? So first we can check the string. Let's say x equals to Python. So strings are immutable. How? Let's say if I try to assign a value, let's say for the second index I want to replace y with some new letter. So the index is 1. So x of 1 equals to, let's say, e. And let's print x. Now let's check the output. So here we got the error. Why? Because we are directly updating the single element of a string or a character of a string directly. Since string is an immutable type, therefore we are getting the error. But in case of list, let's say we have a list x of 1, then let's say 2, 3, 4, which is a comma separated. And let's say I want to update the value at index. Let's say I want to update the value at index 2, which is 3. So I want to replace it by 5. So what I will do, I will write x of 2 equals to 5, and let's say print x. Now let's run this program. So here we can see 1, 2, 5 and 4. So here 3, which is the value at index 2, is get replaced with the new value 5. So this means lists are mutable type. Now let's check what is list slicing. Let's say we have the colors list. Let's say red, then green, then blue, yellow, and let's say one more, orange. And let's print their indexes. For red it is 1, then for green it is 2, for blue it is 2, for green 1, blue 2, yellow is 3, and orange is 4. So list slicing means we can consider it as we are using substring in the string. So if I want to print only these three values, so how I can print? So I can print colors, and then in a square bracket I need to put the range, like from which index I need to start, then colon, and to which index I need to print. So this here in our case it will be like 3. So 3 plus 1, 4. So it will check in the colors variable. It will print from first index green till 4 minus 1, that is third index, index number 3. Let's run this program. So here we can see it prints green, blue and yellow. Green, blue and yellow. So by default there is one more column and the value is 1. So by default it uses 1, which is print every character, every next character. So let's say if I print from 0, so by default first value is 0. So if I write, let's say colon 3, let's say 4, so it prints from 0 to 4 minus 1, 3, red, green, blue and yellow, red, green, blue and yellow. So by default it uses value as 0. So and here it uses by default 1. So if I manually print colon and then instead of 1 I put 2, so what it will do, it will just skip one element. So it will print every second element from the current element. So it will start from 0, it will print red, then here it will check 2, so it will skip first element and it will move to second element, and then it will check it is under 3 index number 3, so it will print blue, and then it will check here we have value 2, so it will skip the next one and come over here, and then it will check, so 4 minus 1 is 3, so this is out of the range, so it will print only red and blue. So let's run this program. It prints red and blue. Let's say we have one more color, white, which is at index 5, and we use the last index as 6, which means it will run from 0 to 5. Let's write 0 also. So I mean there's no need of writing 0, but I have written it to make it clear. So it will run from 0 to 5 and skipping 1 characters. So here 2 means it will skip the first character, or it will jump over directly to the second character from the current character or the element. So it will print 0, then it will skip 1, it will print second, that is blue, it will print, it will skip third, then it will move to orange, and then it will skip white, and after that we don't have an element, and our last range is also 5. So it will print 0, 2 and 4. I mean the values at these indexes. Here we can see it printed red, blue and orange, red, blue and orange. Now we can use this string slicing to basically reverse the list. So here default value is 0, and here default value is the total length of the string, and then we are using -1. So this will print the complete list in reverse order. So here we can see white, then orange, then yellow, and at the last it prints the red. So this reverses the list. Another thing is, if I want to access the last, let's say I will remove the white. We have up to 4 index only. Let's say I want to print the last element of this list. So I have two ways to print it. Firstly, I can use the last index, that is colors of 4, and it will print the orange. And another is, these indexes starts from -1 also. -1, then -2, -3, -4, and then -5. So if I print, instead of 4 index, if I print -1, then also it will print orange. Let's run this program. So here it prints orange. If I print -2, then it prints yellow. So this is the way to, this is another way to print the elements of the list. So if we want to check the length of the string, that is how many elements it contains, we can directly use length function, length of list variable. So let's print that. So here it returns 5, that is it contains 5 elements. Now let's check what list comprehension is. So for that, let's have a simple list, value 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now before that, we can directly write a simple program to print even numbers. For I in colors, if I percent equals 0, that is if I modulus 2 equals 0, which means if I is divisible by 2 completely, then it is an even number. So what we can do is, we can either have an empty list and we can store that result. So let's say we are having another result like result list, we can store that. So we use result dot append. So append is a function to add the elements in the list one by one. So we have added on the value I. So now let's print colors and then print result. So here we can see the colors list is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the result is 2, 4, 6, basically all the even numbers. Now what list comprehension is? List comprehension simplifies this long code to generate a string into a single statement. So how we can do that? So we can comment this code and we can write list comprehension. Now let's say, so we can use the same result, then we have to use a square bracket because we are generating a list. And what type of list? X for X in colors if X percent 2 equals 0. Or we can use I as well in order to simplify and compare the previous code. So here we have used for I in colors. Here also we have used for I in colors. Then we have used if statement to match the even numbers. Here also we have used the same if statement, and if the condition is true, use the current value which is from colors and add it in this result list. So basically, for the values of colors, if the condition is true, it will get added in this result list. So now this code is commented, hence Python interpreter will skip this code and it will not execute this code. It will execute line number 1, 2, 7 and 8. So let's run this and we can see we have again the list of even numbers. Now, so this is a simple list comprehension. Now what we can do, since here we have used if, we can use if else as well. So let's say I want output list as, so this is a comment, let's say output list we want is all the odd numbers should be replaced with odd string and even numbers should get printed as it is. Then odd, then 6. So what we can do, we need to shift this if statement to just before for loop, and then we need to write else odd. So let's understand this code. So it will run this loop for I in colors, that is for every element in colors. Check if element is divisible by 2, then add the element value in this result list, and if the element is not divisible by 2, then add this string in the list which is odd. So basically for all the even numbers it will add the even numbers, but for all the odd numbers it will add the odd string in the result. Now let's run this program. So here we can see when this loop will start, the first value will be I equals to 1, and then this if condition will get false because 1 is not completely divisible by 2. Therefore else part will get executed, and which is a string odd. So in the result, odd will get added first. So here we can see the odd is there. Then again control will go to this loop and it will add the second value which is 2 in the variable I. Then this condition will get true because 2 is divisible by 2, hence it is an even number. Therefore I will get added and I is already 2. So the next element is 2, and then I will again be initialized with the third value which is 3, which is an odd value. So this condition will become false and then odd will get added and so on. So that's why we have odd string at all the odd places. Now let's define another string which is an empty string. So it doesn't contains any value. So if we write print x and run this program, it will print empty list. Basically only the square brackets without any value. Now let's say we have only two values and we execute this program, it will print 1 and 2. And let's say, so we have index 0 and 1. So let's say if I run for I in range, so the length of the string is 2, so we will write 2 and range will return 0 and 1. Let's print x of I. It will print both the values without any error. So what if I increase this value, let's say 3. So range will return 0, 1 and 2. So for 0, x of 0 will be 1. For 2, x of 2, x of 1 will be 2, but for x of 2 there is no value. So what it will do? It will raise the error. So let's run this program. So here we can see for x of 0 and for x of 1, it prints both the values, but when the x of 2 comes, it raises the exception. What exception? Index error. So this index error is an exception class, and its description is list index out of range. So it is saying that the index we are using to access the list element, it is out of range of the list. So only 0 and 1 are in the uh, the value for 0 and 1 index is present in the list. Now let's learn about various methods of list data type. So let's try to print all of them. So I can create a list variable, let's say empty list, and then I can print dir of x. Dir of x will print all the variables and methods of this class list. Let's run this program. So here we have a list of all the variables and methods. So let's skip the starting methods because these are the private methods. So let's go to the last. From last we can check. So here we can see sort, reverse, remove, pop. So these are all the methods of list data type. Insert, index. So let's learn about these. So we have a list of the useful methods of the list data type. So this is a list and we can go one by one. So first is count method. So it returns the number of elements with the specified value. Suppose we have a list of integers. Let's say 1, 2, 3, then again 1, then 3, and let's say 5, then let's say 3 again. Now we can run x dot count method, and count takes one parameter value. So we can, let's say we pass 1. So this method will check this value in the complete list and it will return the number of count or number of occurrences. So here we can see we have 1 here and then here. So it will return total 2. Let's run this program. So here we can see it returns 2. Let's say instead of 1, if we pass 3, then for 3 we have 1, 2 and 3 occurrences. So it will return the result of count as 3. So this is how count method works. Now let's move to next method. We have index. It returns the index of the first element with the specified value. So suppose we want to check the index of the value 3. So it will check in the list from left to right. That is from 0th index till last, and it will return the first encountered index of this value. So here we have 0, 1 and 2. So this first occurrence of 3 is present at index 2. So it will return 2. So let's index. So here we can see the output is 2. Now let's check the output for, let's say, 5. So 5 is present at 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at index 5. So it will return 5. So this is how index method works. Now we have reverse method. It reverses the order of the list. So let's say we have this list X and we can do some objects like 4 and 5. And now we can have, let's say, X dot reverse. And we don't have to store it in variable. So this reverse method will reverse the elements of the list and it will be in memory replacement. So let's try to print X. So basically in memory replacement means it will just not print the list in reverse order, but it will reverse the list. Its element will get reversed. So last will be at first, first will be at last. Like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, it will get printed. So let's print X. So here we can see 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This reverse is, oh, this list is reversed. Now let's check the sort. Sorts the list. So here we can see like this, we can write it as reversed list, and then we can use X dot sort. Then again we can print X. Let's check. So here we can see our original list is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and when we call the reversed method, it reverses the list and it prints 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now the value in variable X is list containing value from 5 to 1. And then when we call this method, sort method for variable X, it sorts the value in ascending order. So after sorting, now the variable X or the list X is now again 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it sorts in the ascending order. Now let's check the append method. What it does, it adds an element at the end of the list. So let's remove this. So let's say we have a list 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and we want to add another value at the end of the list, let's say 6. So this append method will append the value 6 at the end of the list. So let's try to print this. So here we can see we have 6 at the end. So this is how append works. And append method only takes one value as a parameter. It appends that value at the end. So that value can be anything. So it can be a string as well. Let's say we have a string. Let's run this program. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and at the end Python is appended. So these are integers. This is a string. Now let's check clear method. It removes all the elements from the list. So we can clear. So before that we can try to print X. Okay. So firstly it will print the complete list. Then X dot clear method will clear the list present in a variable X. And then we are trying to again print the X. So here we can see. So first we get the complete list, and after clear method, which clears all the values from the list of variable X, we try to print the variable X and it is now empty list. So clear method removes all the elements from the list. Now we have copy method. returns a copy of the list. So in order to understand copy method, let's first check if I have a list of x and I assign another variable as x. So now there are two lists, x and y. X is 1 2 3 4 5 and y is also pointing to the same list. So now let's check x and let's check y. And we can write the string here, like x equals to comma and y equals to, let's check that. So x is 1 2 3 4 5, y is 1 2 3 4 5. Now you will be thinking like we have already copied the value or the list x to variable y, then why copy method is there? Now let's check the ID of both the variables. So we can write a string like ID x equals to, and then the code ID keyword and variable of x. Then we can print the same thing for y variable. Now let's run this program. So this is very important. So here we can see the ID of both x and y is same. That means this list is present in a memory with address or the ID this, and both of these variables are pointing to the same location. Now let's update x. So let's say x of 0 equals to 10. Now let's again print x and y. So I will copy that. So for the first four statements, we are having the same list and same ID. Then after we have updated the variable x of 0 equals to 10. So here the value of x, I mean 0 means 0th index, so it will be 10 2 3 4 5. So x is 10 2 3 4 5. But when we, so here we have not updated the y variable or y list, but when we print the y list without updating it, it is also containing the updated value 10. Why? Because x and y are two variables, both were pointing to the same location or ID of a particular list value. So this is a list value. So that's why we need copy method. Now how copy method will work? Let's say instead of y equals to x, we write x dot copy. Okay. And let's comment this code for now, and we will check only 4 statements. So before that it was like x and y both were having same list and both were having same IDs. Now let's run this program. Now we can see x and y both are having the same list, but their IDs are different now. So basically in memory we have two different values and those are same. I mean those are list with value 1 2 3 4 5, but now they are at two different places with two different IDs. X is pointing to the first value and y is pointing to the second value. Therefore their IDs are different. So at these two IDs the values are same, which is 1 2 3 4 5. So now let's update x of 0 as 10. So I've uncommented this code. I have updated x of 0 as 10, and let's check the value of x and y again. So we will ignore the first 4 lines. Here x is 10, 2, 3, 4, 5, and now y is not changed. Y is same as before. Why? Because it is pointing to the different ID, I mean different memory, which contains the value 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I hope this clears the copy method. Now next we have extend method. Extend method adds the elements of a list or any table to the end of the current list. So let's check. So let's say we have x equals to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we can write x dot extend. Let's say we have one more list. For example, y equals to 6, 7. And we have written x dot extend y. So before that, we can let's print x. After that, we have y, and we will extend x and then print x again. Let's first comment this code. We can directly print x. So here x is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is obvious. Now let's uncomment this code. Now we have another list y, and now we are extending x, and then we are printing x. Now we can see the x list is updated and value 6 and 7 is appended at the end of the list. So this is the functioning of extend. It extends another list or any iterable. Now what is the difference between extend and append method? So append method is used to append a single value. It can be a single value, means it can be list, it can be integer, it can be string. It will just append as it is at the end of the list. But extend uses any iterable, and it iterates over the values, and it will append each and every value in the list. So in y we have two values, and it appends each and every value one by one to the end of the list. So let's check if we use, what will happen if we use append here. For extend, we have the output of x as 1, 3, then 4, 5, 6, and then 7. But now let's comment this, and what if we use x dot append y? Let's try to print. So here we can see up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 we have same, and then comma, and then we have a list as a value. Why? Because append takes a single value. So here the value is list of two integers. So it will, this list will be considered as a single value, and it is appended as it is at the end of the list. But extend will iterate over this value, and it will append one by one all the values at the end of the list. Therefore we have 6 and 7 as a separate value. Now let's check. We have insert method. It adds an element at the specified position. So let's check insert method. So append adds a single value at the end of the list, but insert method, what it does, so it has two things. First is index, and then the object or the value which we need to save. So let's say at 0th index we have 1, at second index we have sorry, let me write the index as well, 0, 1, 2, 3. So let's say I remove this value. So now we have 0, 1, 2 and 3, these indexes, and values we have 1, 2, 4 and 5. Suppose if I want to add 3 in between 2 and 4, so how we can do? So basically we need to insert after the first index. So what we will do? We will write index number 2 and the value as 3. Now let's print x. Here we can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which means the value or the object 3 is inserted at index 2. So we have inserted value 3 here, and rest all the values will get shifted by one index. So this is now 4. So this is how the insert method works. Now we have pop method. It removes the element at the specified position. So up to now we have checked how we can insert the values in a list in multiple ways. Now let's check how we can remove the value. Now let's say I want to remove the item 3 from index 2. How I can do this? X dot remove, and then it is saying write the value that needs to be removed. So remove 3. Let's run this program. Okay, so it removes the value, but we forgot to print. So let's print X. Let's check. So here we can see 1, 2, 4 and 5. So 3 is removed. So let's say we have 3 here as well, and then we have 6, and this is the index number 5, this is index number 6. So how this will work? Let's check. So here we can see 1, 2, then 4, 5, 3, 6. So basically it removes the first encounter of this value in this list, and it checks from left to right. So here it encounters 3 at index 2, so it removes this third value, and then it writes the list as it is without this third value. So this is how pop works. Basically this is about remove, not the pop. Remove the first item with the specified value. So we have done the remove method. Now let's check pop. So basically remove works on the value, and the value, the first encounter in the list. So it removes that. And pop uses the specified position, that is pop uses the index location. So we will use the same list, and we will just replace this by pop. So it will remove the value from index 3. So 0, 1, 2, 3. So it will remove the value 4. Let's try to print. So here we can see 1, 2, 3, 5, 3, 6. So 4, the value at index 3 is removed. So now instead of 3, let's check with 4. That is index of 4. Let's run. So we should be having 1, 2, 3, 4 and then 3, 6. Here we can see 1, 2, 3, 4 and 3, 6. So what if I provide the index which is out of range from this list? So let's say 7. Let's check that. So it will give index error, pop index out of range, because there is no index 7 present in the variable of the list X. Let's check one more thing. What if we save this pop? The pop returns the value which it removes from the list, and we are saving it in Y. So let's print Y. So we are popping a value from index 5. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. At 5 we have 3. So y now will contains value 3. We are printing the y. Let's check that. Yes, 3 is removed, and let's try to print the x again. So this 3, which is present at index 5, we are popping it out. So let's check that. So here we get 3 and output as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 3 is not there because we have popped it out, and then 6. So we have covered all the main methods of the list.